I'm joined by the British Army veteran of 16 years, Andrew Kirk. And Cookie claims he was evicted by the Ministry of Defence to make way for an Afghan family. Welcome to the show, Cookie. You're at the thick end of this. This impacted on your life. Tell us what happened.
Evening, Martin. Yes, thank you very much. Rewind to 2023. I was medically discharged. It was the right thing to do. Part of that process, you get a whole bunch of resettlement packages to transition from military life to civilian life. One of those packages is retention to retain your service family accommodation. Now, it is caveated, and it does say it is at the discretion of the Defence Infrastructure Organisation. However, at the time, if we go back, we were in the midst of the financial crisis. Interest rates through the roof, so I decided that would really support and help me. I applied in May of 23 and it was rejected. Fast forward then to September 23 and suddenly a large quantity of Afghan nationals suddenly turn up on the estate and occupy a large quantity of the houses that weren't occupied, which then led me to being out, moving over at Christmas time with my family, and any options of support gone.
Cookie, I've been hearing of instances like this for the past couple of years now, and it suddenly becomes obvious why we couldn't get any information from the MoD about this, because there was this super-injunction. It prohibited anything from getting out there, and so the anecdotal evidence was in the background, the evidence was building, and the theory on the ground was that British veterans were being kicked out of their digs to make way for Afghani nationals. Now we know that that's true. We don't know how big this scandal is. We don't know how many people were impacted. We don't know the cost. But we do know is that it directly impacted your life.
Absolutely did as well. And I sent an email to the local MP, Mr. Kruger, at the time, asking these questions on two parts. One, from my selfish perspective of when I needed the help and support of leaving the army and becoming a civilian, it was rejected. Now, at the time, I thought it was for service reasons, and I completely accepted that as always. The needs of the service come first. Always accept that. However, when it's then for something else and it's covered up, we don't know. Mr. Kruger then didn't reply to me until after that the problem had gone, and I was basically then out of the house. So when he did reply, and it was a very loose reply of give me a call at some point. The problem was my problem issue, the selfish problem had gone. But I did also raise to him as well the other fact of going at the time, none of us on the estate were notified that the Afghan nationals were coming in. There was no plan to embed, no plan to integrate. One day it was just service personnel. The next day was now groups of males, females and children, but just hanging around the streets. We didn't know where they come from. It wasn't until walking around then find, because they had food stations as well, they were brought food. They go, right, okay, that part of the estate is now taken, all for Afghan nationals. We didn't know if there was going to be an increased presence of security. Again, I myself, I saw 7 tours of Afghanistan. A lot of blue on green on green was going on over there. There's all these questions now that were just not communicated, not answered. And it still seems today there is no plan to integrate and embed. So I know they're talking hundreds of millions. It's going to be in the billions, because it's going to take all the unemployment still. They're not paying the rents. There's going to be more houses. There's no jobs. They're not bringing any rents. There's the hospitals, the doctors, the dentists. Accumulate all these things, we're talking billions.
Have you had a random call lately from a strange number, maybe trying to sell you something or even scam you? If so, your info could be out there. That's because of data brokers, shady companies that scrape the internet for your personal details and sell them to marketers or even scammers. These days, scammers can even use AI to mimic your friends' voices and trick you into sending money. It's not just annoying. Data brokers often target vulnerable people with high-interest loans or sketchy offers. But there is a solution. Incogni, the sponsor of this video. Incogni contacts data brokers on your behalf and requests your info be deleted from their databases. And because your data can keep popping up, Incogni keeps sending removal requests to make sure it stays gone. They've just launched a new unlimited plan with custom removals. If you find your info on a weird website, just send them the link and their privacy team will work to get it taken down. Getting started is easy. Hit the link in the description, create your account and let Incogni handle the rest. It's risk-free for 30 days and you'll get 60% off an annual plan with the code GBNews. Take back control of your data with Incogni.
Cookie, what's astonishing about this, and I'm trying to get my head around this in real time, you served in Afghanistan for Queen and country. It was still under Her Majesty then. You served out there. You did your best. You put your life on the line. No doubt you lost comrades when you were out there. You put country first over your own safety. You witnessed... what I'm trying to get my head around here is that what did you see out there that gave you a conclusion about the kind of men that suddenly you're seeing are dropped on your doorstep? What did you see in Afghanistan that made you think, actually, this might not be a good idea?
A huge amount. And first and foremost, as it's been said many times in your show, there is a huge, vast culture difference. It is not a case of just come over and here is the British culture now and settle into it. They don't really follow central government. They are tribal still. They listen to each other in their own villages. They are just completely different. And I say we spent 20 years in Afghanistan and we still didn't understand the culture at the end of it. So the plan on how to actually integrate, unknown. There was all sorts of other things that were ongoing and rumours as such. Of course, never seen it personally, but there was incidents of Afghan National Army and then young boys, girls that were all mingling together. One could only imagine what was going on, and there's many things out there that says what was going on. But we do not understand them. We don't understand the culture. And now they're here, and we don't know what's going to happen.
And Cookie, just to make people understand how you put your life on the line, you're one of the only a few UK soldiers to be awarded the US Bronze Order of Mercury from the US Signal Corps. I'm right. Tell us about that amazing honour.
No, absolutely. So, yes, I've received multiple accommodations, but one of the key ones was working with our US allies. I was supporting the division and really helped to improve the communications between them at the divisional level and for ourselves at brigade level, and developing a more cohesive command and control and communication structure with the Americans, to which then they decided to honour me with the US Bronze Order of Mercury, which was a real honour to receive.
You know, Cookie, I'm sort of getting a bit emotional here, mate, because you've risked your life, you've been highly decorated, you've supported Britain's allies in a conflict of war in a country you helped to try and preserve and rebuild. You come back to Britain, you've been kicked out your digs from people from that country. I have to ask you a brutal question. How does that make you feel?
It's just extremely deflating. And the key thing for me is I know a lot has been said about finding the person to blame. And for me, I'm not overly interested in that person to blame and to hang somebody out dry. The important piece is to learn the lesson and stop making the same mistakes. This was done under a Conservative government. I do feel that we're making the same mistakes with the current government. There's actions and decisions that are being taken that impact British taxpayers here, and they either do not care, which I hope is not the case, or they're just bypassing it. They're just completely overlooking.
Cookie, I want to try and get to the heart of the matter. You know, you've risked everything for your country, and your country has treated you like this. What does that say to you about what our country has become?
It's extremely sad. You know, we sacrifice, we miss Christmases, birthdays with my children to go and help and support the Afghans and other people around the world. And the one time that I asked for help and support when I really needed it, I didn't want to leave the army, but it was the right thing to do. I was medically not able to do it anymore because of a peanut allergy. So I supported them in removing me as soon as possible. But when I asked them for one thing, it was no, and it was to help unknown at the time. And it wasn't communicated, as we see throughout the show. It has been a scandal, it's been a cover-up. And it's been at the sacrifice of normal British people. And it will continue to do so as well, because this has not ended and there will be greater and greater impact to everybody.
Okay, Andrew Cook, we have to leave it there. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. I've been wanting to get you on for some time, but now we understand the super injunction was there. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you did for Queen and country. I truly mean that. Yeah. Once again, I find myself getting a bit emotional on this show. Cookie, top man, thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Now, MoD sources have confirmed to GB News that they are looking into Andrew's case at this stage.